Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Anani Yasta Sakalen Priya Priti Vanti Pasyanti Vanti Kayanti Tiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam
Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Shri Guru Charana Padma Keval Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Keval Bhakti Sadma Vandamo Sabadhana Mate Vandamo Sabadhana Mate Jaharo prasade bhai e bhavato riyaja Jaharo prasade bhai e bhavato riyaja Krishna prapti hai jaha hoite Krishna prapti hai jaha hoite Guru mukha padma vakka chitte ko riyaya ko Guru mukha padma vakka chitte ko riyaya ko আর না করিও মনে আশা আর না করিহ মনে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এই সেই উত্তম গতি শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এই সেই উত্তম গতি বেদে গায় সাদে যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা चक्षुदान दिल दे जन्म जन्म प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिल दे जन्म जन्म प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिल दे जन्म जन्म प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहाँ चरित वेद गाय जहाँ चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनार बंधु लोके नाद लोके रजीवाना लोके नाद लोके रजीवाना लिहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया लिहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया ये बेजाज मुतुक त्रिभुवाना लिए बेजाज मुतुक त्रिभुवाना शिल प्रभु पार्वती तपावाना शिल प्रभु पार्वती तपावाना लिहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया लिहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया बेजाज मुतुक त्रिभुवाना Bhavana. Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Bhavana. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. Nitai, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Saminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunnavadi Astatta Desatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
No more.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Baba. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Gauranga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Nango. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari. Ah, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga. Ah, Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Jai Satyanandana Gaura Hare. Jai Satyanandana Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. प्रभुपाद की।
सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की
जय
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
जय।
श्री राधा कृष्ण गोविंद भक्त वृंद की हरिनाम संकीर्तन जानकार राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदना Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jaya Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jayanitai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So good morning everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Today we're continuing the journey. I'd like to thank Mother Kosharupa Badahari Prabhu yesterday for the wonderful class. I was thinking, it said, Kaviraj Goswami says that Krishna Leela and Chaitanya Leela are like camphor and nectar. And when you combine them and listen to them together, then it becomes Sumadhurya. Very, very sweet. So thank you for reminding us of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his incredible mission. And thank you for being our inspirations in his mission. So dedicated and so encouraging. Hare Krishna. So, yes, we are continuing Uddhava's journey. Do you feel like you're developing more of a relationship with Uddhava? Isn't it? Listening about him every day, such a wonderful personality. Here Krishna actually says in the Bhagavatam, Uddhava is not inferior to me in any way. because he is never affected by the modes of material nature. So very, very transcendental personality. So we began on the first day by talking about Uddhava's position. And if you remember, we went through the first Purva section of the Brihat Bhagavatamrita, and there in a conversation we're hearing about Narad Muni, who's meeting many, many devotees, and we established that yes, finally Uddhava, and then above Uddhava even the gopis, are to be understood to be the greatest recipients of Krishna's mercy. So perhaps the most significant devotees to talk about. And then in the second session we talked about Uddhava's transformation. How did he actually come to this conclusion that the gopis are even more exalted than me? And so he was very much a part of revealing the great glory of Srimati Radharani's love, the gopis' love. We talked about this incredible scene, perhaps the most emotional scene from the whole of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we talked about how just meditating sometimes on these pictures can bring about so much entrance into the Leela as well. Therefore, they are windows to the spiritual world. And then we talked about how Uddhava finally came back, came to Vrindavan on the order of Krishna. And then we hear about this incredible scene. Another scene that you can meditate on. Kaviraj Goswami says the skies of Bhagavatam are unlimited, and everyone is a bird, and everyone is flying in the sky according to their capacity. So as we expand our capacity, we can look at a picture like this, and we can read these passages from the Bhagavatam and enter into deeper and deeper dimensions of the Leela. So this is the 47th chapter of the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, which is considered in one sense the heart of 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 Bhagavatam. And therefore it's said that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to the Gambhir, Gambhir means very confidential, very internal, the innermost sanctum. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu physically goes into the Gambhir, then spiritually he also goes into the most inner sanctum, and he's meditating on Srimati Radharani's emotions at this point. So in 10 verses, known as the Brahmara Gita, Srimati Radharani is chastising the bee. He's saying, just like Krishna is just like a bee, he goes from flower to flower and he takes the nectar and he just moves on. And just like that, he came to Vrindavan, he took all the nectar and then he just left. And like this in her transcendental anger. So this is, if you go to Vrindavan, you can go to Nandagram, and on the outskirts of Nandagram you can go to this very, very special place. This is known as Uddhava Kyari, and this is the actual, this picture is depicting this place. And so this is a very, very, very confidential place on the outskirts of Nandagram. So we concluded yesterday's talk, or the day before yesterday, the last talk, by talking about how we are all ultimately looking for rasa. Rasa is the universal quest of every single living being, and then we explained how there are two types of rasa. There's what we call mundane rasa or material rasa, and there's what we call bhakti rasa. So Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati, ultimately only bhakti rasa can satisfy, and therefore this is the International Society for helping people develop bhakti rasa. And according to our level of absorption, we can experience bhakti rasa in different degrees. There is casual bhakti. And casual bhakti, what's happening is that one basically is experiencing or focused in their life on basically mundane rasa, and bhakti rasa is a part of their life. Krishna consciousness is a part of their life, and it's a nice part, but it's a part, and it remains a part, and it remains perhaps isolated to a few days a week, or a few activities a week, or a few parts of our life. But then it's mentioned that there is committed bhakti. these are just my terminologies, but they're taken obviously from Rupa Goswami's analysis. And what happens here is that now mundane rasa and bhakti rasa is separated. Now one realizes that no, bhakti rasa is not just a part of life. Bhakti rasa is meant to be the goal of life. But there's also this material mundane rasa, and therefore there is a struggle. In this stage there's a struggle because we've been frustrated enough by mundane rasa to know it doesn't work, so we're trying to get rid of it. And we've been inspired enough by bhakti rasa to know it does work, and we're trying to increase it, but we still keep struggling in that process. And then it said there is purified bhakti. And in purified bhakti, anya abhilashita shunyam. Mundane rasa disappears. And as mundane rasa disappears, then one's life is only Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati. They're only tasting bhakti rasa. But then there is a further limit, a further frontier revealed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that's what we call passionate bhakti. So someone will say, but this purified bhakti, it's only bhakti rasa, pure ras. What can there be higher than this? Nothing more. What can be beyond that? But what the Shastras reveal is that yes, in purified bhakti, in this terminology that I'm using, there is bhakti rasa, but there is a boundary around it of awe and reverence. And therefore Kaviraj Goswami says that bhakti rasa cannot find its full and most intense expression because there is a boundary of awe and reverence. So what happens in passionate bhakti is that awe and reverence is broken. And when that awe and reverence is broken, then this bhakti rasa expands to a superlative degree. And that is known as passionate bhakti. And that is what Uddhava witnessed. And that's what, in colloquial English, blew his mind. So what takes you to go from here to here? Basically, you need knowledge. The more knowledge, then you become committed. Ragahina jane bhaje. When you don't have rag, when you don't have spontaneous attraction, but you engage in devotional service, shastrera agyai, because you understand the purpose of it. You've read Shastra. Then what happens? Vedi bhakti. Then you are practicing Vedi. Not just casual, committed. However, to go from committed to purified, it requires practice, sadhana. And not just sadhana or bhakti yoga, but intense. Divrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param, the Bhagavatam says. And then, to go from purified to passionate, even if one is pure, it's amazing. Uddhava was in Mathura. He was right next to Krishna. But in order to understand passionate bhakti, he had to have association of the Brajabasis. Therefore, by association, by very elevated association, one can actually gain entrance into Braja Bhakti. So therefore, Uddhava's transformation is taking place because he realizes, actually if we look in our life, there is a public life, there is a personal life, and there is a private life, isn't it? Don't you experience this in your life? Public life is how you carry yourself when you're in a crowd like this. Personal life is how you carry yourself when you're around those who you know very well. And private life is how you carry yourself when you're just with one or two or three very, very intimate people who know you the best. Therefore, Uddhava realized, I knew something about Krishna's public life and his personal life. But now I've gone to Braj, I've understood that Vrindavan is basically the private life of God. everyone wants to know the private life of someone, like what's going on behind the scenes. Like in the world today now, they have this thing called fly on the wall documentaries. So it means, what's a fly on the wall? A fly on the wall means you're in a room that you're not really supposed to be in, but you can see everything that's going on in there. So Uddhava, when he came to Braj, he almost felt like a fly on the wall. Like, I'm entering into like some confidential space here. And so these are the progressions. And Uddhava understood this, the private life of God. Sounds like a good movie. Could make that movie, Private Life of God. So this is very, very profound, because some people know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But how many people know the Supreme Personality of Krishna? Yes, the Bhagavatam tells you Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But who knows the Supreme Personality of Krishna? That is revealed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. Shyamameva Param Rupam Purim Madhupuri Vara Veyakai Shaurakam Dhyayam Adya Eva Paro Rasa. Krishna has many rupas. Krishna has many forms. Shyamameva Param Rupam. But Krishna, Shyam Sundar, Nandanandan, Vrajendra Nandan in Vrindavan, that's the Param Rupam. That's the highest form. Puri Madhupuri Vara. And if you want to know where Krishna acts as Shyam Sundar and performs his private life, then you go to Madhupuri, Mathura Vrindavan. And there, Adya Eva Paro Rasa, there are many, many rasas. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says there are 5 primary rasas, 7 secondary rasas. 5 plus 7 equals, it's not a trick question, 12. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says if you want to experience the 12 rasas, then you simply have to go to the 12 forests of Braj. So Braj is Rasamaya Leela. It's a place which is infused with rasa. However, Adya Eva Paro Rasa. There's one rasa amongst all the rasas found in Braj, which is the Adya, the original and the topmost, and that is the conjugal rasa. Shyamameva Param Rupam Puri Madhu Puri Vara Veyakai Shaurakam Dhyayam Adya Eva Paro Rasa. And Krishna, when he is a Keshava, when he is a youth, then he performs that eternal Leela, Navayovanam. So this is what Uddhava realized. This created an incredible transformation in him. So we have been given access to the private life of God. This is actually amazing. It's amazing because from the first day in the Krishna consciousness movement, we just hear all this kind of stuff like, yeah, Krishna runs around in Vrindavan, he plays a flute. And so it almost becomes like just something that we accept. Yeah, that's Krishna. But this is actually very, very confidential. This is very, very Chira Kali Nahe Kari Prema Bhakti Dan. Kaviraj Goswami says this for a long time. Nobody knew about this. Chira Kale. No, nobody knew about this. But as we heard yesterday, the storehouse was broken open. So we have access. Now, before I read today's Bhagavatam verse, I will ask you a question. Actually, I'll ask you 5 questions. Today we're going to talk about what Uddhava's aspiration is. So we've talked about Uddhava's position, we've talked about his transformation, and after he sees all of that, how does it change his inner orientation, his desire, his aspiration? But before we do that, I'm going to ask you, please look at these questions. And what I want you to do is turn to the person next to you and tell them 1-word answers, and it can only be 1 word. 1-word answers that you think people would give to answer these questions. Okay? Does it make sense? Okay, go for it. One word answers to answer these questions. If someone asked you these questions and you had to answer in one word, what word would you use? All right. Thank you so much. That sounded like more than one word. All right, so I don't want you to just tell me the words I want to hear. I want you to tell me the real words. What do you think what kind of words do you think people would use to answer these questions? Anyone want to say? Yes? Lakshmi? I'm assuming you're money, yes. What else? Family? Yes? Job? Your future? The future? I said one word, so I'll put future. Myself. Thank you. Love. Wow, the consciousness is coming up slowly. Oh, okay, sure. 2 is good. No worries. I trust water to solve my problems. What else? Time? Time? You think about time all the time. Okay. Yeah, what else? Security. The past. Okay. Food. Fear. Faith. I'm going to put food there anyway because we just have to be honest here. So sometimes you just have to be honest, you know. Anyone else? Problems? Service? Okay. Pleasure? Very good. Okay. Don't bring Krishna into this. This is actually an exercise. We call it locating your heart. Okay? Friends? Okay. Pain. Okay. Okay. Okay, we can stop here. Control. Okay. We are confused souls. It's not an insult for me. It's actually what Shastra says. Maya mugdha jivara nahi swata Krishna gyan. Jivare kripaya koile Krishna Veda Puran. Jagadananda Pandit, I think, says, Maya mugdha, spirit souls are completely confused. They're running, looking for something here, going here. They're split souls. Their heart is in so many places. Day to day, they change. They invest their mind, their energy, everything in so many different things, looking to basically find happiness. Therefore, the Shastra tells us, Jivara Kripaya, Krishna is like kind to the souls. And therefore, what does he do? Veda Puran, he gives knowledge, he gives Shastra Gyan to basically understand that we're looking for the right thing in the wrong place. What is Krishna consciousness? What does it mean to be Krishna conscious? After all, we are the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. What it means to be Krishna conscious is if we can one day come to the point where the answer to every single one of these questions is Krishna. Imagine that. Imagine if we could come to a point in our life where every single answer to this question would naturally, spontaneously be Krishna. If you get to that point, I want to be around you because it means you're Krishna conscious. Is that very far? Yes. It feels sometimes very far. But we have it. Already you feel in many of these questions, yes, Krishna would be the answer to some extent, and there would be other things. When Uddhava went to Braj, he understood that the Brajabasis answer Krishna to every single one of these questions. When a demon attacks, they know Krishna will solve it. When there's something, a thing that they don't know what to do, they know Krishna will give us the answer. When there's any opportunity to be with Krishna, then for Krishna, they will sacrifice anything. Whenever there's a decision to make, a direction to go in, a dilemma, they know what will take me closer to Krishna. That's the decision I'll make. And this is basically not just Krishna consciousness, but Vraja consciousness, Vrindavan consciousness. It's very interesting, Jiva Goswami in the Sandarbhas, he says, Vrindavan is a state of consciousness. That's very, very profound. It means Vrindavan is not just a geographical location. It's actually a space of consciousness. And it seems that when Jiva Goswami makes this statement that Vrindavan is a state of consciousness, he is mirroring a statement by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who utters something in the mood of Srimati Radharani that we read about in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahaprabhu says, Anyara Ridaya Man, Mora Man, Vrindavan, Mane Vane Eka Kori Jani. This is very profound. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Anyara Ridaya Man. For most people, their mind and their heart is one. Mora Man, Vrindavan. But my mind is Vrindavan. Mane Vane Eka Kori Jani. My mind, Mane Vane, has become Vrindavan, and therefore Mahaprabhu says, Krishna, I heard you like Vrindavan. Therefore, why don't you put a foot in my heart? So this is very profound. Mahaprabhu is saying most people, their mind and their heart is one. In other words, the mind tells you, you need all of this. And therefore, your heart is located and orientated in that way. But what Mahaprabhu says is, he says, Mora man Vrindavan. My mind has become Vrindavan. In other words, Krishna has hijacked my mind. One commentator says the gopis cannot be criticized for violating dharma. They cannot be criticized for running to Krishna, because when their senses were drawn towards Krishna, what people don't realize is that the leader of all the senses is the mind. And who is Krishna? Manohara. That person who steals the mind. So this commentator says you can't criticize the gopis for what they did with their senses, because the leader of their senses, the mind, was stolen by Krishna. And therefore, in a court case, they can be defended. So that's the point. And that's what Uddhava realized when he went to Braj, that their mind has been stolen by Krishna. So this is Krishna consciousness. So this is an exercise you can do regularly to see how Krishna conscious we're actually becoming. Because sometimes we measure it by rounds, sometimes we measure it by knowledge, sometimes we measure it by popularity and glorification, sometimes we measure it by institutional position, sometimes we measure it by so many other factors. The real question is, could you answer Krishna to every single one of these questions? And if you can, you're doing good. And that's the point. And that's what Uddhava realized when he came to Braj. So all of this moved his heart. All of this transformed him incredibly. And therefore, at the end of the 47th chapter, there are 6 verses in which he makes prayers. Because after you've seen something amazing, witnessed some incredible transformation, then there must be an outpouring. Isn't it? When you breathe in, then you must breathe out also. Therefore, after seeing all of this, then he expresses what is his deepest aspiration. And this is what he says. Would you like to see? So this is Uddhavji's deepest aspiration. So you can repeat after me. Asamaho charanarenu jasam aham shyam Vrindavane kimapi gulmalatau sadinam Yaduschajam sajanamarya patam chahitva Bejur mukunda padavim shrutibir vimrigyam. So this is Uddhava's aspiration. The gopis of Vrindavan have given up the association of their husbands, sons, and other family members who are very difficult to give up. And they have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, Krishna, which one should search for by Vedic knowledge. Oh, let me be fortunate enough to become one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan, because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their lotus feet. This is a very beautiful prayer. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Sri Uddhava here shows the perfect Vaishnava attitude of humility. He does not pray to be equal to the gopis in their exalted stage of love, but rather to take birth as a bush or creeper in Vrindavan, so that when they walk upon him, he will get the dust of their feet and thus be blessed. The shy gopis would never agree to give such blessings to a great personality like Uddhava. Therefore, he cleverly sought to get such mercy by taking birth as a plant in Vrindavan. So, this is Uddhavji's desire, that may I just remain in Vrindavan as a clump of grass. Because maybe the gopis, when they are in their ecstasy and they're looking for Krishna and they go off the main path and they start wandering into the groves because of their ecstasy, then maybe they'll step on me. And if they step on me, then my life is successful. So this is very profound. We can just look at the verse here. There are so much to meditate on here. In the first line, Renu, the dust. Sometimes it says Braj means three things: Venu, Dhenu, and Renu. Braj, Vrindavan means Venu, Krishna's flute; Dhenu, Krishna's flower, Krishna's cows; and Renu, Krishna's dust, the dust of Braj. So the dust is very, very powerful. It's said that when we want to show, according to culture, our subservience, our sense of deep reverence and respect, then we take the dust of someone's feet. So the dust of Braj is glorified in many, many ways. In fact, there's a Vaishnava Sampradaya, maybe someone will know it here, I can't remember which one it is. They worship the dust of Braj. Which one is this? I think it's Nimbarka. I think it's the Nimbarka Sampradaya. They worship the dust of Braj. So it's said, for example, even Krishna eats the dust of Braj. You know that famous pastime at Brahmanda Ghat where Krishna ate the mud or the dust. So the acharyas give different commentaries. Why did Krishna eat the dust of Braj? So different explanations are given, and one of them says it's clear, because yasmin tushta, jagan tushta. When Krishna eats, the whole world eats. And Krishna was thinking, I want to bless the whole world with getting the mercy of the dust of Braj. But many people may not be able to make it to Braj. And therefore, let me eat the dust of Braj, because then everyone in the entire universe will be satisfied by the dust of Braj, because Jasmin Tushta, Jagat Tushta. When Krishna is satisfied, the whole world is satisfied. So Renu, dust, very, very powerful. Bhakta pada dhuli or bhakta pada jal, bhakta bhukta avashesha, tina mahabal. Kaviraj Goswami says there are three very powerful substances in this world. Bhakta pada dhuli, the dust from the feet of the devotee. Bhakta pada jal, the water that has washed the feet of the devotee. And bhakta bhukta, the remnants of what they have eaten. So like this, the dust is glorified. And here is very interesting. Uddhava says, Vrindavane, I want to be in Vrindavan, even as a fly on the wall, even though I feel sometimes that I'm not qualified to be in this inner chamber, the private life. He says, I'll just be this is interesting. He says, Gulma, Lata, Ausadinam. Gulma means bush. Lata means, isn't it? We say Bhakti Lata means a creeper. And Aushadinam means a herb. So sometimes the commentators say, when he uttered this, that I want to be in Vrindavan, he said, I'll be a bush in Vrindavan. Then he thought, that's too audacious. I'll be a creeper. And he thought, no, even that's too audacious. I'll just be a herb. So this is a Vaishnav, when they realize what they're actually aiming for. a sense of humility awakens. We talked about this the other day. Prema and dainya go hand in hand. And therefore, as one's prema is increasing, their dainya must increase. Therefore, Uddhava says, Gulma. No, it's okay. Lata. No. Okay, just ausadina. That's enough for me. Just a herb. Just something small. Dustyajam. Why are the gopis so glorified? So here he's saying his aspiration. And here he's explaining why. Why? Why the gopis? Dustyajam, because they gave up. Dustyajam hitva. They gave up that which was very difficult to give up. If you want to know how advanced someone is in devotional service, don't just look at what they give. Look at what they give up. No, Krishna, here, everything for you. And what does Krishna say? No, what's behind there? I want that. What's behind there? No, Krishna, everything for you. I'm giving you so much. No, but what are you ready to give up? I'm not ready to give up, but I can give many things, but I'm not ready to give up. Okay, that's good. But the moment, dustyajam, that which is very difficult to give up, hitva, let go. Holding on means holding back. If you hold on, hold back. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tamstateva bhajami aham. As you surrender, I'll reward you accordingly. Of course, Krishna said this, and then later on, Krishna said to the gopis, you've made me contradict my own words. You've made my words false. Because I told the whole world that as you surrender to me, I'll reward you accordingly. But the way you've surrendered to me, giving up everything, I can't reward you. Napadaye ham. Therefore, I'm a debtor. So the gopis are glorified because they're just ready to give up that which is so difficult to give up. And two things are mentioned here. Svajanam and Aryapatam. Swajanam means family, friendship, love and society. And Aryapatam, in the translation it says path of chastity, but it can also just mean tradition and culture. This is actually very interesting because in the Gita, when Krishna says, Arjun says to Krishna, Senayor ubayor madhye Ratam stapayame chuta. Arjun says to Krishna at the beginning of the Gita, now go to the middle of the battlefield. I want to see everyone who's here. So Krishna drives the chariot to the middle of the battlefield, and then Krishna stops the chariot. And do you know where Krishna stops the chariot? Krishna stops the chariot in a very strategic place. Do you know where? Bhishma Drona Pramukata. Krishna has a sense of humor. Krishna knows what's on Arjun's mind. So what Krishna does is he draws the chariot to the middle of the battlefield and he stops right in front of Bhishma and Drona. In colloquial English, we say, rubbing it in your face. And the Acharyas say, why Bhishma and Drona? Because the two biggest forms of attachment are the attachment to family, friendship, and love. This is represented by Bhishma. And Drona is like a teacher, but Drona represents the attachment to tradition and trends and what you've been taught previously. So therefore, symbolically, what Krishna is saying is that unless you're ready to give this up, you can't get Krishna. And these things are dustyajam, very difficult to give up. So it's difficult. Family. Of course, this is not, the gopis are on a superlative level. It's not. There is a way to also balance dharma and bhakti. So the purpose of this class is not that you should just leave everything. of course, we are following Dharma. But the point is, if it had to come to that point, would you be ready? That's the point. It's not so much even giving it up, it's are you willing to give it up? Are you ready to give it up if it's required? That is the standard, the gold standard of the gopis. So it's difficult. Family. Generally, your family want to see you enjoy sense gratification, or your family want to enjoy sense gratification with you, or your family want to enjoy sense gratification through you. That's generally what happens. And therefore, sometimes it becomes So the gopis were ready to give it all up. If you want to know the level of one's Krishna consciousness, another way to see it is how much risk are they ready to take. According to the amount of risk one is ready to take, that will likely determine how deep their Krishna consciousness is. Therefore, you find people who are incredibly Krishna conscious, they do sometimes the most fearless things. Abhay Charana Aravinda. Prabhupada said, when I chant Hare Krishna, I feel no fear. So fearless, having taken shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So the gopis were fearless, flexible, and fully available. Fearless, flexible, fully available. That is Gopi Bhav. So a fearless person is not a person who doesn't have fears. Really? A fearless person is not a person who doesn't have fears. A fearless person who is one who has a purpose which is so compelling that their fears pale into insignificance. That is the gopis. So therefore, because Manohara, Krishna had stolen their mind. Therefore, fearless. And Bhejur Mukunda Padavim, they just took shelter of Krishna. They had that faith. Shraddha Shabde, Vishvash Kohe, Sudhrida Nishchoy, Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. I have faith. Really? What's the definition of faith? Shraddha Shabde. By the word faith, it indicates that you have a vishvash. You have an incredibly firm conviction that Krishna Bhakti Koile, if I worship Krishna, Sarva Karma Krita Hoy, everything in my life will be done. If I worship Krishna, I'm never going to lose out. If I worship Krishna, Krishna will have my back. If I worship Krishna, Krishna will protect me, Krishna will maintain me. Rakshishyati ti vishvasho. That is the level of immersion that the gopis had. And therefore, the second two lines basically explain to us why. Why does he want to be a creeper in Vrindavan to get their dust? And the second two lines are the glorification of the gopis. So these are incredibly deep verses of the Bhagavatam. And what does it mean for all of us? Well, it means that we may want to learn something from these desires. Anyone know what this place is? Specifically? Yes, Braj, of course. Yes, this is Vishram Ghat, Mathura. Vishram Ghat. So when you do Brajamandal Parikrama, then when Mahaprabhu did Brajamandal Parikrama and he came to Braj, then the first place he came to before he started Brajamandal Parikrama was he came to this place, Vishram Ghat. Vishram literally means the resting place. So when you do parikrama, it's like 30 days of austerity, and it's interesting because the first place you come to is the resting place. Do you think like, don't we come to the resting place at the end? Like, why do we come to the resting place at the beginning? So there's actually a deep meaning. There's many multiple meanings why this is Vishram Ghat. But firstly, it's Vishram, it's the place of resting, because when Krishna came to Mathura, Krishna meant business. So Krishna arrived in Mathura, and the very first thing was he killed the washerman. Then he killed the elephant, Kuvalayapida. And then he killed the wrestlers. And then he killed Kamsa. He was on a killing mission. Like, it was a lot of killing in one day. I mean, he killed a lot of people in one day. And it said after killing all of those people, Krishna came here because he needed to rest also. So Vishram Ghat means the resting place because it's where Krishna rested. It also has a connection to previous yugas because it said even Varahadev. After Varahadev lifted the earth from the nether regions, the Bhumandala, and re-established the Bhumandala in its orbit, then even Varahadev came to this place to rest. So it's a resting place. But it's also has a symbolic meaning, the Puranas say, because it's the resting place, because it's the place where living entities can rest. Rest from the craziness of life. Rest from the rat race. Rest from all the frustration of the world. Rest from material activity. In this world, everyone is engaged in shrama, working hard for that which won't give you any happiness whatsoever. The great souls see the living entities and they lament. Ramai Swami says once he was in a car with Prabhupada and they were in Australia, and Prabhupada would go for his morning walk, so they were driving to the park. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, and Ramai Swami was with Prabhupada in the back seat of the car, and they got stuck in a traffic jam. Prabhupada looked at Ramai Swami and he said, why in the world is there a traffic jam at 6 a.m. in the morning? He looked at Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, in this country, because the distances are so great and people have to go to work, they have to leave their homes at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and drive 2 hours to get to work. As Ramai Swami told this to Prabhupada, a teardrop fell from Prabhupada's eye. And Prabhupada said, they're working so hard. For what? Shrama eva he gave alam. Working hard, useless waste of time. There's one American comedian, Bill Hicks, so he also would give like profound points through his comedy. So once he said, there are only 2 drugs which are allowed in Western civilization, caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine, because it keeps you energized in the rat race from Monday to Friday, and alcohol, because it puts you in illusion from Friday to Sunday so you don't realize the rat race that you're in. Shrama eva, he gave alam. But the Bhagavatam says it's not just shrama, parishrama. The whole world is engaged in parishrama, all-round, complete, useless activity. What's the escape? Ashrama. Ashrama means a place of spiritual cultivation. But ashrama means you also have to work hard in an ashram. I thought Krishna consciousness was going to be easy. No, it's also shrama. But it's ashrama. It's hard work that will take you somewhere significant. It's not parishrama, hard work that just keeps you going around in circles. Therefore, shrama, when it gets even worse, it's parishrama, but then to get relief from it, ashrama. And if you honor your ashrama, then you can go to Vishram. Then you can rest. You want to rest? Do you want to rest from material life? Do you want to rest from the chaos, all the disappointment of this world? Vishram Ghat. Vishal Prabhu, Prabhupada's disciple, he says once he was in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada walked out and so he was just saying to someone, Vrindavan ki jai, Vrindavan ki jai. So Prabhupada looked at him, heard him saying that, and he looked at Vishal Prabhu and he said, oh, you like Vrindavan? So Vishal Prabhu looked at Prabhupada and he said, yes, Prabhupada, I like Vrindavan. And then he said, Prabhupada picked up his cane and he flicked it and he said, then Vrindavan is yours. And he said, it's very beautiful how he said, Prabhupada just flicked his cane and said, well, Vrindavan is yours. It's yours, if you want it. Vishram Ghat. So, Uddhava is saying, I want to rest in Vrindavan. That's what I want to do now. But that means you have to escape parishram. And that means you have to enter ashram. And if you enter ashram, then you can ultimately vishram, rest. Otherwise, just running around and round in circles, and then you die. Sorry to be so bleak, but I mean, it's kind of like that, you know, what to say. So, Uddhava wanted to be a Kripa in Vrindavan, and he did. So you know this place? This is Uddhava Kund. So that's where he's residing. If you want it, Prabhupada said the art of Krishna consciousness is desire, how to desire, the art of desire. So Uddhava is residing here. And the proof is that when Krishna left the world, then the Dwarka queens were experiencing great separation. And so the Dwarka queens came to Braj. And they came to Kalindi, who was also, of course, very close to Krishna. And they looked at Kalindi and she looked not as dejected as them. So they said, how is it that Krishna has left? We were dejected. She said, yes, the gopis were also dejected when Krishna left. But then Uddhava came to Braj and Uddhava delivered a letter to them. And it somewhat pacified their hearts. So, if you want your heart to be pacified, then you also need to listen and hear from Uddhava. But where is Uddhava? He's gone. No. Vrindavane kimapi gulma latau sadhinam. No. Uddhava is residing. He's in Braj. You just need to go to that place behind Kusum Sarova. He's there. So it said that the Dwarka queens went with Vajranabh and Parikshit. And they did a big kirtan. And they arrived in Uddhava Kund. And there, as they did this massive kirtan, Uddhava appeared. And they said, wow, Uddhava, can you tell us about Krishna? Krishna, he is described in the Bhagavatam, of course. The Bhagavatam was given by Krishna to Brahma. The Bhagavatam was communicated so many times. I can also tell you Bhagavatam. Just sit down, I'll speak Bhagavatam to you. And just as they were about to begin speaking Srimad Bhagavatam there, Uddhava looked at Parikshit And he said, but you have to go. You have to go. You have to go. And he goes, no, you're just about to start the Bhagavatam Katha. How can you say I have to leave? No, you have to leave. No, but I want to hear Bhagavatam. Uddhava said, don't worry. In the future, your time will come. For now, you do your duty. And so he left, and there it said that the Dwarka queens heard Bhagavatam from Uddhava. And it said that Uddhava is described very beautifully. Uddhava was reciting Bhagavatam, reciting. And it said that the Dwarka queens were listening, they were drinking. Ugra Shrava, voracious listeners. And it said that they closed their eyes, they were listening, and they just went into an absorption, and then they just left their body. Imagine that. Being in a Bhagavatam Katha and you just drinking. And they just left. And like that, Uddhava continues to reside in Braj. So Mahaprabhu's statement is very profound. Anyara Hridaya Man, Mora Man, Vrindavan, Mane Vane Eka Kori Jani. For most people, their mind and their heart is one. And therefore they're running around for useless things that won't make us happy. Therefore instead, Mora Man, Vrindavan, if you can make your mind Vrindavan, then maybe you will live in Vrindavan, because ultimately Vrindavan is a state of consciousness, as Jiva Goswami tells us. And so this was Uddhava's aspiration, Uddhava's transformation, and this was finally Uddhava's aspiration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All right, I try to share a few things. Yes, Krishna Kshetra Maharaj. Please correct me.
Hare Krishna, thank you for transporting us to Braj with your sweet words. Just, you mentioned three characteristics of the gopis. They're fearless, they're flexible, and they're fully available. And you elaborated on their fearlessness. Could you perhaps elaborate on their flexibility and their being fully available?
Thank you, Maharaj. Flexible, well, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he takes the word Vraj, and he says Vraj can mean different things, and one thing it means is to move. And so in Amritavani, his definition of Vraj or Brajabasis is that they're always ready to move with Krishna's plans. Krishna, he is very unpredictable. Krishna, you can't second guess. Even Bhishma Dev said that. Nahyasya karhichit papan puman veda viditsitam yad vijigyasaya yukta muyanti kavayopihi. When Bhishma Dev looked at the Pandavas at the end of the Kurukshetra, he said, I can't understand how everything in your life transpired. No one can understand the plan of Krishna. And if you do, if you try, if you even attempt, muyanti, you'll become completely bewildered. No one can understand what Krishna is going to come up with next. As they say, if you want to make Krishna laugh, tell him your plans. So flexible, Braja means always ready to move. Krishna's plan changes. And then in our life, we fight, we curse, we look at Krishna and say, like, what are you doing? You're on the day off today? Like, be attentive. No, it's all perfect. So hard, isn't it, to just move with Krishna's plans? Who could put their hand up and say, there's not one thing I want to change in my life? Anyone? Put your hand up. There's not one thing I would want to change in my life. It's perfect. That's the gopis are so flexible that it's all perfect. Of course, there's transcendental dissatisfaction, but that's different. So this is flexible and fully available. Shriman Rasa Rasadambhi Vamshi Vatatatastita Karshan Venu Svaner Gopi Gopinathai Shri Ishtana. Krishna plays the flute. So Masucha, no hesitation. Just runs. Fully available. Now, see, flexible means you're ready to do anything. Fully available means you're ready to do anything now. I think I did that experiment once here. You have two options. I did this experiment with you, right? Did I? Yeah, see, you remember. I won't do it again. Okay, option one. You can achieve everything you want to achieve in your life. You can be successful. Your kids will grow up amazing. You can have a wonderful life. You can do amazing devotional service. And at the end of life, you can go back home, back to Godhead. I don't know. Do you need to hear option two? I don't know. Okay, option one. Option two, let's go now. Now, this moment, this very moment. Yeah, you see, we put our hands up. Really? Remember, there's option one. Mode of goodness. No need to be passionate. Like Krishna, it's okay, like we're in cooperation here, like step by step, right? Nicely. Don't be, excessive. Who would be ready to say now? I can just go now with no bitterness, no frustration, no regrets. If this is what Krishna wants, I'm ready. To be fully available, wow. I mean, if you could do that, that's something. So the gopis were not just flexible, but they were ready to do anything now. And yeah, that is inconceivable. These are some thoughts. Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you for such a nice class. In continuation of the question from Maharaj, you talked about two things to give up. Well, one is the thing that you can measure the advancement by what you are willing to give up and the risk that you're going to take. You talked a little bit about timing. If we want to do it now, or we can do it on a longer time. So my question is timing and maybe also maturity a factor in these kinds of decisions?
Yeah, we are. See, we have to be practical. Like sometimes we tell people you have to live your life as though you're going to die tomorrow. But I mean, if you practically did that and you lived for 50 years, it would be a problem, So it's like, so the point here is that there is maturity, there is practicality. But the point is there's also above. You see, it's like, When Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they wanted to run away and be with Mahaprabhu. Then Mahaprabhu sent them a letter back. And in that letter, it's like, it's funny because Krishna and spiritual people, sometimes they speak in riddles, you know. They're just like, can you just tell me what you want to say? It's like, but sometimes they don't. They just speak in riddles and because they want you to think about it. So Mahaprabhu sends a letter back. Paravya sinini nari vyagrapi grahakarmasu tadeva swadayatyantar navasanga rasayanam. There's a lady. She's married, but she has another lover. And therefore, what does she do? She remains at home. She does all her household tasks even more attentively. Navasanga rasayanam. But in her mind, she is always thinking, when will I be with him? When will I be with him? So we're not encouraging. Just have to add that, moral footnote there. But the point here is that there's practicality, there's maturity, there's things that need to be done, but there's an inner bhav. Because the reality is, it could be like that. Like last year I was coming here for the Bhakti retreat, so I did, as we do these impractical things often, I went back one day for London Rath Yatra. So I was in Zürich, and then so my plan was I'll go back on Sunday morning, and I'll come back on Sunday evening. Done. Simple. So I went London Rath Yatra, and then at the end, I came to Heathrow Airport, and there was some computer breakdown or something. Anyway, all the flights were cancelled. So anyway, I got a flight in 2 days' time. So I called up one devotee family who live right next to Heathrow. So on Sunday night, I just stayed at their place. And I remembered them this year especially because that devotee family who I stayed with on that Sunday night were in that Air India plane that crashed. And it was just like, this Sunday when I was coming on the flight, I was just thinking, wow, that was just like, it's so Kamala Dala Jala, Jivana Tala Mala. I mean, we hear this all the time. But so the point is that bhav, to be ready. Yeah, it's hard because we hear all of this and we say it, and then it's like we got to live this. It's like, how do you live this? It's like sometimes inconceivable, but we have to live with that bhav. And I think that's the point that we're making, that yes, there's time, there's maturity, there's practicality, but at the same time, there's an inner fire that needs to be burning. This is what I could say. I don't know if did I address it or did I? Okay, maybe last one.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you very much. You mentioned Uddhava Kyari in Nandagram. Can you tell a little more about it?
What can we say? Yes, it's a very transcendental place. Actually, I went there a long time ago. I went to Nandagram this time. I did not go there. When we go to a place, a Leela Stali, actually the Braja pilgrim, what they're trying to do when they go to a Leela Stali, a place, is yes, they are hearing the pastime. Yes, they're hearing the events of what went on there. But the real thing that they're trying to capture when they go to any place is the bhav. What was going on here? What were they feeling? What were their emotions? What were their what was going through their minds? So whether it's Uddhava Kyari or whether it's Govinda Kund or whether it's Radha Kund or whether it's the bhajan kutir of someone who did bhajan in Braj, when we go there, we're listening to everything that went on there. But actually, what we're really trying to grasp is what is the spirit here. And so, essentially, what is Uddhava Kyari? And can you say more about it? I think that's everything that we've been talking about here. That's what Uddhava Kyari stands for. It stands for that intensity. It stands for individuals who are able to say Krishna to every one of those 5 questions without the blink of an eyelid. And that is, at least speaking for myself, way beyond any level of Krishna consciousness that I've experienced. And so it's humbling, and it's revealing, and it's inspiring. It's all 3 of those things at the same time. It's like you go to these places and you're humbled, you're educated, and you're simultaneously inspired. And that's actually what Braja Parikrama is to be humbled, to be educated, and to be inspired. And that's something I could say. All right. All right. Thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yoga to Krishna Consciousness. It's a very nice webpage. You can guide them to that place. It's in German right now, but there is plans to have a similar webpage also in English. So that was another announcement. All right, again, thank you so much, and wish you all a wonderful, inspirational day. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.